This is Lake Taupo, plumb in the centre of the North Island, equidistant from Auckland and Wellington. New Zealand's largest lake, it's 240 square miles in area. World-renowned as an angler's paradise, over 400 tons of trout are taken from this lake each year. It's a boatman's paradise. Here you can fish, you can swim, you can water ski. There are hot pools, cold pools. In fact, a glorious place for a holiday. But the township of Taupo does not live by play alone. Surrounding the district, there's a huge forest area. The hydro schemes on the Waikato River. The geothermal schemes provide power too for the North Island. And of course, tremendous land development in this area. But let's go up and have a look at Taupo at the northern end of the lake. Wellington to Taupo is an easy day's drive, about 6 or 7 hours. At the turn of the century, things were different. It took 5 days by train, riverboat, lake steamer and coach. We may be missing some of the excitement of travel these days, but we probably arrive in better shape than those tourists of the past. The travellers then, 60 years ago, came into a village which had a European population of 10. Today, 19,000 people live permanently in the borough and county of Taupo. Of course, it's not the town that people come to look at, it's the lake. We're outside the post office in Taupo, a very busy place, particularly at holiday time, and I'm going to interview people at random to find out why they come to this part of the country. How do you spend your holiday?
Well, we visit all the beaches. I'm not a fisherman myself, but the young boy likes to fish. My family like to go swimming. I like to go swimming. In fact, we like all the amenities of Taupo in general.
Why are you in Taupo, sir?
I'm here to have a good time, sir.
On holiday?
Yes, sir.
From where?
Palmerston North.
With your family?
With my wife.
Just with your wife?
Just
How do you
with
fill
my
in
wife.
your time?
Eating, sleeping, fishing, and your guess is as good as mine.
How are you spending your time in Taupo?
A working holiday.
On what?
Well, I'm building myself a little batch.
Where are you from, the country?
Yes, out of Howrah. Okaiawa is the name of the town.
Why did you choose Taupo to build this holiday batch?
Well, we've been coming up here for years now. It must be 5 or 6 years now. We like the climate. Usually it's very nice weather. And if it's a bit rough, we've got the hot baths to go to, or the lake if it's lovely weather.
Here's a lass from Australia. She's been in New Zealand 5 weeks and just this moment arrived in Taupo.
Yes, that's right.
You on a working holiday?
Well, we're university students. We worked for 5 weeks in Wellington and now we're just travelling around.
Who told you to come to Taupo?
Oh, we've just heard so much about it in Australia. We just, we have heard of it over there.
Are you fisherwomen?
No, afraid not.
You like boating?
Yes.
Swimming?
Yes, very much.
Do you have hot pools in Australia?
No.
We have hot pools here. You'll enjoy them in
yes,
Taupo.
we saw them at, Tangano or something like that. Tokeno.
I wouldn't know.
Tucano.
Tucano.
Yes, Tucano.
Providing accommodation is the biggest business in any tourist centre, and Taupo is no exception. Hotels, motels, flats, the town has plenty of them. 40% of householders are absentee owners. That's to say, they're people who can afford to keep a house here and use it only in their holidays. Sites having a lake view are expensive, but this doesn't seem to discourage builders. New homes are going up everywhere. Still, a family needn't own a house to enjoy a holiday here. The Waikato River runs out of the lake at the town of Taupo. 4 miles downstream are the Hooker Falls. A million cameras must have clicked here, recording this watery spectacle. Anglers prefer quieter places. The largest fish ever taken in the Taupo area was a brown trout. It weighed 40 pounds. That was many years ago. But perhaps today's anglers dream of catching another such fish. Or one of the giant 20-pound rainbow trout, which are still occasionally taken. It's not likely that a fisherman could beat the one day's catch of a gentleman back in 1910. 77 trout weighing a total of 722 pounds. Rather more like a day's work than a day's fishing. If the angler's in luck, and most of them are, he can expect to land a trout of between 5 and 6 pounds. In fact, he can expect to land several of them. This is how most non-anglers remember Taupo's fishermen, the row of patient figures at the mouth of the Waitahonui River. It's locally known as the picket fence, a fixture of the Taupo scene. The person who catches a fish by trolling, trailing a line behind a slowly moving boat, isn't in with the serious anglers. But it's a pleasant way to fish. There's no great finesse called for. The trolling fisherman merely sits back and waits for a bite. And when it comes, this humble troller can get just as excited as any expert angler. This fellow, it's about 3.5 pounds, won't set a record for anything, but it'll make an excellent meal. One of the places near Taupo, which specializes in preparing trout for hungry fishermen, is the Hotel Wairaki. At any time of the year, this hotel is a magnet for guests from New Zealand, North America, Europe and Australia. And not only guests come from abroad, as we found out. All holidaymakers seem to flock to Taupo, and the money which tourists bring in provides most of the town's income. Over the past 10 years, the tourist trade has grown, and Taupo's grown along with it. But tourism is not all that's making the town boom. The geothermal power scheme at Wairaki and the tremendous amount of land development here have made Taupo a year-round service centre. Businessmen feel their town now has a more balanced economy, as we found out from Mr. Jack Painter and Mr. Don Davis.
So you'd be able to tell us something about the business community of Taupo?
Yes, well, the business in Taupo now is slightly different from what it was 2 to 3 years ago.
On the western side of Lake Taupo, most development is being done by the government. But here on the eastern side, private companies are working. This is Lochinvar Station, a 20,000-acre block that one day will be among the North Island's biggest sheep farms. Taupo is becoming a clearinghouse for produce, as the once barren country becomes a green belt spreading round the east, west and north of the lake. The job of bringing in the land will be going on for many years, and as it does, the borough of Taupo will become even more prosperous. Land development is the backroom boy of this area's growth. The sights and sounds the visitor remembers are these. Part of the North Island has come to an end. We've shown you some of the reasons why Taupo is one of the fastest growing districts in New Zealand. We've shown you Taupo at work and at play.